All right, so yeah, we're members of the Citizen Journalist Toolkit. I'm Kelsey, this is Claire and Jenny. Our fourth team member, Ileana, couldn't be here today. She has a class, I believe. And our faculty member, mentor, is Dr. Evan Golub. He's in the back over there. So basically, the premise of our project was to create a guidebook to teach people how to tell their own stories and, as she said, to really be empowered to share their own culture and be a part of their community. So just to delve into a little bit some of the purposes, really harness the power of citizen journalism, really encourage storytelling and reconsider what it means to tell a story, how different formats and different kinds of multimedia can change the way a story is told, to orient communities, to share culture, and really bring people together, which is something that we've seen a lot in our project already. To fill a void of resources, as to the best of our knowledge, there isn't something that's like this that really goes from the beginning to end to help somebody document an event. And to really encourage technology literacy, because we feel, as I'm sure most of us do here, by virtue of being part of FIA, believe that tech literacy is really important to be successful in life. Technology is everywhere, so knowing how to use it is really important. And so because of that, the main FIA priority that we focused on was InfoEquity, although we also touch a lot on culture. So our process, this is a really big idea and a really big process, so we decided first that we would focus on partnering with the National Park Service and focus on the communities that are based around the National Mall. So we did a lot of in-field research. We went to the inauguration, we went to the memorial tours that they do around at all the memorials around the National Mall, and we went to the Blossom Kite Festival. And by virtue of this, we got to see a lot of different kinds of communities, some that were temporary, like at the memorial tour, where people are tourists coming in and seeing the monuments, and also we got a bunch of different sized events. Obviously, the inauguration was huge. The memorial tours were only 20 or 30 people. And then to support our research, we also read a lot of different texts and looked at what was already out there about how to tell a story, how to market the project afterward, how to design it, how to not break any laws while you're doing this. So we learned a lot. And so what we got out of it, we have a model website, which basically is what we hope that other people who are using our guidebook will be able to accomplish. It has all different kinds of multimedia on it. It's laid out in a certain fashion. We also have our guidebook. It's all written. We're on the last couple bits of designing it right now, putting the final touches on that. And we also had a really successful marketing campaign for our website that Claire's going to talk about a little later. So just to go into detail of what we learned from each event that we did, we decided to start big and give ourselves a real challenge, and we did the inauguration. And we really focused on Twitter for this one because we feel like it's a really good building block for how to tell a story in a really short amount of time and space. There are a lot of technical challenges, as you would expect, but we learned a lot moving forward and what to focus on in our guidebook and what to maybe fix for the next time around. So going from that, we went to the memorial tour. We actually did the Fdr Memorial, and we really expanded our reach. We did tweets, mobile photography, blog posts. The inauguration was huge, and this was very small. So going from the huge inauguration where like the citizen journalists could kind of be lost in the crowd to this where it was pretty obvious that we were documenting it, it was actually a little awkward. And so we learned a lot. And so we learned a lot about kind of the logistical aspects of being a citizen journalist and like knowing, okay, maybe you should pair up and one person should be the one tweeting and staring at their phone and the other person should be attentive so it's not like, rude. And also just kind of like pre-planning and talking to the person beforehand so they know what to expect. And then the Blossom Kite Festival was really, we took everything we'd learned from the past two events and from all of our research, and we went to the Kite Festival, and it was a really great experience. We learned a lot about a really big community on the National Mall, the Kite, everybody who likes to fly kites on the National Mall. We learned a lot about that, and I think it's a community that kind of isn't really well known. So we got to share their culture. We wanted to show you our website. Can you click through to our website? Just briefly, so you can see kind of what we did. So this is the website we created and shared. It has all different kinds of multimedia, blog posts on it, lots of photography. The Kite Festival is a very visual event. And so this is basically what we plan to have other groups create. And we also got to have a feedback meeting with the organizers of the Kite Festival. We specifically talked to Alyssa Staley, and she ran the Kite Festival. And she really liked our blog. She gave us a lot of great feedback about what could be improved, how to document it better, but also what really worked for them. And they actually liked our documentation so much that they're going to be sharing it on their website. So we've already kind of begun having an impact with the way we documented everything. And so Claire's going to talk a little bit about the business aspect of our project.
So once you've created, your documentation for your event, obviously you want other people to learn about it. That's the point, is to spread it to other communities. So I focus a lot on how to get the blog out there. So as you can see from the top graph, that's what the people visiting the blog. So in the beginning, obviously there's not really many people visiting, but once we actually started our marketing campaign, you can see there's a surge of people. And I know it says 813 views up there now, but we have about 950 views, I believe, on the site so far. And we use various different ways of trying to get the word out there. So we used emailing friends and family. We use social media a lot, so Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, Pinterest, and we also wrote on a lot of forums and discussion boards trying to target the Kite community. So you can see here on this document that it explains where all the click-throughs came from. So a lot of the people who actually looked at our blog came from the forums and Reddit. But what's important to realize is although Reddit and forums worked really well for our project, that doesn't mean that necessarily the people from other communities who are trying to document their event will have the same success, because there's different markets and different types of people who are interested in different things. So it's important to try kind of everything to see what you get. And I think the coolest part of marketing was actually the impact. As you can see on the far graph on the left, or on the right, we had obviously a lot of people from the United States who visited our blog, but we also had a lot of international people, which I didn't really expect. I didn't know anyone knew about that. So it was cool to see the impact we had on the larger community.
Yeah, so just going a little bit more into impact. As you saw, we really had a global reach, and really were able to tap into a community that already existed of kite flyers and really reinforce it across the country and across the world. And we also, future impact, plan to encourage further documentation of different cultures, different communities, and encourage people to really think about how they tell stories. So our next steps, we plan to have a further collaboration with the National Park Service and the museum to have a final, another event where we actually have people helping us to document our event using our guidebook and get feedback from them to create a second version, a more updated version of our guidebook with that input. We've also applied to a Moving Maryland Forward grant, which is a diversity initiative through the university. And with that, we plan to have a campus focus and see how what we've learned from the National Mall can translate to the school and the campus mall. And we want to create an app, and we also will have a website with all the things that we've created. So we just want to thank everybody who's helped us get to where we are now. It's been a really great experience. So thank you to the Future of Information Alliance, the Deutsche Foundation, the National Park Service, and both Wendy LaRue and John Tobiasen, and the museum and Paul Sparrow for all your help. And we invite any questions.